Alright guys, we're over here in the big city of Sellersburg, and we're going to try to get that vehicle over here that had that blue lines all over everything, and then got the Punisher. He had that Punisher thing. I used that old live stream last time and it dropped on me, and so here we are. As you can see, right there's the police department. We're going to see about going inside today. First of all, we're going to go over here and we're going to get this car. I believe it's still there. I hope it is. It used to be an old bank, I think. You got to give me that a minute. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. The wind is going. Traffic's a little loud, but we're gonna try to get everybody out here. I'm gonna let that vehicle go there. I'm gonna make a left here. We're out here with this Suspicious Activity 81. We did this last Saturday. Everything was closed up. We missed a few things. Streamlabs lost us. So we're gonna go through and just do exactly what we did last time. And hopefully we can get it. You see their trucks. And the Punisher is gone right now. It may be over here somewhere. But as you can see, everywhere on the front. I like to get over here and see this Punisher. Oh yeah, there's John Jones. Did you find the Punisher there, Suspicious? There's that blue line. Blessed are the peacemakers on this one. And this is that Punisher I was talking about, guys. Look at that. Now, I didn't think they were the Punishers. I thought they were the law upholders. I didn't think they were supposed to punish you. And there's the scratches. I don't know if you can see that, but look inside here. This is what we missed last time. It's got the seat covers that are blue lined everywhere in there. John Jones is a outfit that we have there in Salem, Indiana. There, you might get that a little bit better. Salem, Indiana, and they decorate all these police cars, and I'll be daggone if you don't look. There it is, right there.
Desecration.
It says John Jones right across that. Now that we've got all this cars here, another John Jones deal. This one here is running. And this is in Sergeant Ben Bertram, Rest Easy brother. Now see, that to me, that isn't a desecration or anything. That ain't even a blue line, a gang symbol. That there gives you that. But when they start putting that daggone thing on the flag and then putting Punisher and then doing that sort of thing, that kind of upsets me a little bit. And I understand what you're all talking about. Hopefully we'll get some interaction with some officers today. They can kind of explain that. Here's another one here. Sellersburg, Indiana. We're going back in here now. See if we can't get some kind of contact. See about that blue line, exactly what they think it means. As you can see, this building used to be an old bank, I believe. It's in really disrepair. Look at that soffit there.
Just remember, if you get pulled over or anything, you report everything you do.
And this here is the Sellersburg Senior Citizen Center, right next to it. And there's where they can get their money out of the bank and go in there and play bingo and that sort of thing. Play bingo, play dominoes, play cards, and build puzzles. Pretzels, I ain't never heard the like. Got a big old cracked window right there. And this is a safe place. Administration 8 to 4. How we doing? But we're in Sellersburg, Indiana.
It is open today.
And it's open. How we doing?
Hello.
Just fine. You were back there taking pictures of the police cars and
Yes,
the license
ma'am.
plate. What's
Yes,
going
ma'am.
on?
We're just doing our constitutional right out, just seeing what we can see and doing our thing, and that's what we were doing. We don't mean any ill intent or nothing like that.
Right.
So we're okay.
Okay.
We appreciate you doing that. And then here you go. Now over there in what you call it? What was that one we were just at? Suspicious? Austin. They have their stuff printed up.
This room is
for
audio
your-
and video recorded at all times. Well, that's good.
There you go, see? It's an audio and video. And there's that. May I ask a question? Well, how do we go about filing a police complaint? Do you have a police complaint, an officer complaint form? Do you all have those on hand or anything like that?
Yes.
Can it be filled out anonymous and all that and brought back? Okay, see, that's good. That's what we was asking. I don't really need anything right now.
Okay.
But I just asking to make sure, because a lot of people say that, oh, we don't have that, you got to go online and all that.
No, we
And-
actually have them. We actually have printed out ones here.
Oh, well, that's good. I appreciate that. I like that. Southern Indiana has been they seem to don't mind all this. Out west, it seems like everybody's wanting to argue and do all that, but everybody's kept our rights within reason. And we appreciate that. We really do. And that's what we're out here to do, is trying to tell everybody not everybody's like that. Well, come on out. We'll talk to you.
That divider kind of...
Yes, it does. What's your name and badge number, if you don't mind?
Richard Wagner, Sergeant, badge number 633.
All right, appreciate
What can I do
it.
for you guys today? Y'all out and just enjoying the nice weather?
Just
Walking?
enjoying it, walking, and just doing our constitutional rights. I had a question about the one officer's car out there. It's got the Punisher on the front of that. And it's got the
Which
blue
one?
line, the silver or the gray looking one.
Well,
and
a lot of them are.
well, right. It's parked over here. It's got the Punisher on it with the blue line up and down. And we just wondered just exactly what's the meaning of that one, because
Blue line?
yeah, well, the Punisher thing with the
I
blue
don't know.
line.
That's an individual officer's preference and taste. And,
Oh.
that I can...
Because, I mean, officers aren't supposed to be punishing. All they're supposed to do is just uphold the law. And that was, that was just kind of a...
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not familiar with, I've not seen what you're talking about as far as the Punisher.
It's a plate.
Yeah, it's
Front plate.
the front plate.
Right.
And it's got
And
the
what's
skull.
actual
It's a skull.
Okay.
And then it's got the blue line is the flag,
So it's
on the
just the
skull.
skull?
The skull and the
Okay.
on the flag. Yeah, it kind of looks like
It
the
may
flag.
be just the officer thought it was cool looking.
Oh. Well, I noticed he
A
had
lot of it's
scratches
just
up on his
individual,
bumper and all
officers'
that.
tastes and preferences and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff.
Well, we
You know,
just
I've
wondered.
been actually a police officer for 16 years.
16
Okay, and
years.
I'll tell you right now, there ain't no one on this department that intentionally violates people's rights.
There you go.
If you come across to us, it's because
We've done wrong.
you've done something that got our attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate
It's like
that.
y'all got our attention.
Right.
Once we've talked to you, realize you're just out walking around doing whatever. You're not a danger to anybody out here. Not a
No.
danger to yourself.
There you
We
go.
don't care.
There you go. And see, that's what
That's the way it needs to
that's
be.
the way it needs to be, and we're glad to see it here. We've been through 4 or 5 of them now through southern
Was you all
Indiana.
the same guys, gentlemen that were here last Saturday?
Yeah, last Saturday, and
Okay.
we missed that. Actually, I lost the feed, and we come back to redo, and
okay.
and being under business hours, we could actually talk to an officer.
Yeah.
And
You didn't talk with one of our female officers here?
she didn't really want to talk. She was a little upset.
In her defense, and
I think she was
a lot
after
of officers'
something.
defenses, you guys sometimes, when you come out just exercising my constitutional rights,
Right.
that's kind of puts us on a defensive.
Right.
If you just say, hey, man, we're just out walking, just trying to get to know people, just trying to, see what's going on with our public,
Officials.
facilities and stuff like
Right.
that, that's a lot more palatable term, so to speak.
There you
But
go.
when you say exercising our constitutional rights, that you sound like you're being defensive and withdrawn, and,
Well,
and that kind of puts us on a little bit of a
Edge. Right.
We're
But
gonna
like
be
I
more
said,
than nice. I mean, we're not going to come in and cuss you guys out.
Oh,
or
nothing
yell
like
at
that,
you, anything
no.
like that. Now you start trying to violate
Now,
your
see-
rights, then I'm going to
Be
really get
upset.
defensive.
right,
Yeah.
peacefully,
I
right.
don't
Yeah.
ever have a problem with people doing things peacefully.
Yeah, that's
Well,
how-
see, when we
And
went,
don't.
so far we ain't had no problems
Right.
at all. But
this is our interaction with her last Saturday when she got out of the car. I cannot think of her name, but I think her badge number was 626.
Yeah.
And when she got out of the car, she asked us what we were doing. We said, I'm doing our constitutional rights. We're out here just looking to see what we can without being any problem. We're not here with any ill.
Yeah.
But then when I asked her badge number, it set her off.
Yeah.
And then when she reached back into
Not
the
used
car,
to that.
right, she
Well,
wasn't used to
we're
it.
not
And
used to having-
exactly, and that's our main concern there is because a lot of people out west, or a lot of officers out west, as soon as they see that camera, all of a sudden they're upset.
Yeah.
And I understand they've got a lot more people than we do here in little towns and cities and everything, but the reaction they're getting out there shouldn't be like that. And the reaction we get here is what they say that should be. So we like coming out here and showing people that there is good officers.
Mm-hmm.
There are towns that do. Jeffersonville, for instance, over at the jail, protected by the Second Amendment rights, right on the window. So that's really good.
Yeah.
They're at least doing the Second Amendment right.
Yeah. Sheriff Knoll he's pro.
well, I figured he was camera anyways with that show being there and everything.
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
had, So I figured they wasn't going to mess with us there.
Oh yeah.
But we've had a really good experience here. The only thing we have is the blue line thing on the darkened out flag. That is the one thing
You
because.
talking about the U.S. flag?
Yes, the U.S. flag is darkened out,
Yeah,
and then the
it's
big bright blue light,
Yeah, it's subdued.
the line across there, and it's like we're in the dark and the police are out front,
No.
and that's what it represents
That's
to a
not-
lot of people.
That's
Though.
not what it. Well, and see, I think a lot of people don't understand the meaning of the thin blue line. Okay, the black is representing the good and the evil. It's
Right.
representing both sides. We are the blue line in the middle, separating the bad from the good.
Okay, I
Keeping the
understand
good
that
from-
with the
and
black, the
that's
blue,
what
and then the
that's for.
black below. But what
Right.
about the flag?
Yeah, and
Even John Jones. Now, see,
Right.
I'm from around the area to where I know where
I'm a
John
vet.
Jones is,
I spent
and
time in the army, and
exactly, the
right.
vets lose a lot of people, a lot of lives, but you
Right.
never see
Right.
anything on that flag.
Right. A lot of
Never.
people hold the flag into a different category.
Right.
I remember, I was born in '70, so I've been
Right.
around here for a while. I remember a long time ago, it was taboo to wear a bathing suit or article of
Any
clothing.
right, exactly.
Like your flag
Right,
on your hat, that was
exactly.
frowned upon.
Right.
Well, people start relaxing that a little bit because, hey, it's just a sign of patriotism.
Right.
And that, and I don't know who come up with the flag, putting the thin blue line.
Actually, it started out a red line, and then it changed into the blue line back in the 70s.
Right.
And I actually,
Well, I'm talking about actually subduing the flag.
yeah, I
and
did.
doing it
I don't
right.
know where
who
that.
did that.
I don't know who did that either.
I like it. I think it's a tastefully done, in my opinion.
But the only
And
thing
I
is,
understand
the
people
flag
don't have
is
the same-
supposed to be red, white, and blue.
Right.
We got red lines, we got white lines representing the 13
But
original
the theme-
colonies.
Right, but the theme behind the thin blue line is the two blacks being separated by the blue line and
Right.
the law enforcement in the middle. I think that's the thought process behind it being black. It has
Well,
nothing to do with trying
Most of
to.
the Americans
Well, that would
look
be-
at it as a gang symbol.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
something now. If in that instance, why wouldn't it be black on one and white on the other? Black represents the evil, and the white represent the good, just like in the old cowboy days, and then the blue line separates the two.
If you do that, let's look at, so you'll start getting people who are thinking that there's some racial overtones.
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
what I was going to say.
So
Right there.
you gotta.
Well, that blue line, if that's a situation, then that blue line would intermix the two. You see, there wouldn't be just a black and white. There's the blue line that says, "Hey, look, we're all together," and we don't, something like that. It's
like
just the
I
flag,
don't know who came up with it.
right?
I've not researched it.
Right. Well, like I said, I don't know.
Their thought processes behind why they chose the colors that they chose.
I see a lot of that around, though, and it just, out west. I mean, how do they know what gang is what? It's by the color that they wear. If you're red, you're blue, and now here you all are, the police officers carrying a symbol, whether what it means or not, it's still a symbol to the layman out here,
Right.
that don't know.
So then his Nintendo thing that he's wearing, that could be considered a symbol too.
Well,
See,
right,
but
exactly.
you're-
But
you're-
he's a private citizen.
Okay. And I am too.
But your car isn't.
Right.
And your car is
Actually,
what we're
you're not
saying.
right
You're,
now,
if
though.
if you have your flag out in front of your house that's got that on there, that's not none of my concern. That's your personal right. But when you're representing the citizens, and you do something like that, that's a little bit different. See, that
And I can
doesn't
see where you can come to a sense of alarm about it.
right.
There's, I assure you, there is the thin blue line is not a gang symbol. We are not an organized gang. I don't know any police agency in this day and age
Well,
that you could classify as an organized gang.
well, this day and
I'm not
age,
saying they
there's
don't exist.
well,
just
what I'm saying. Well, right in this area, we don't have the same that they have out west in
Right.
California and all
Look at
that.
Lincoln
However,
County in Texas.
yeah,
I'm
right.
not trying to take up for the way they police out west. I'm not
Right.
trying to take up. I know how I police, how we police. It's because where we're at.
Right, but
Okay.
the only thing my saying is
You
we've got a
understand,
lot of people
but
that's
you
going to
gotta
be moving in
understand
here.
also, right, but you also got to understand that you can't meet
Everybody.
everybody the same.
Right.
Some, situations require heavy-handed versus some that require a soft, gentle nudge.
But isn't the law supposed to be?
Depends on what you're.
The law is supposed to be equal to everybody. That's the
But
officers.
I'm
That's
not
every.
really talking about. That's kind of a metaphor more than an actual legitimate
Hands-on.
technique or tactic.
Okay. Right.
Because I can't be effective policing in California
Right.
because I'd be a fish out of water.
Right.
They can't be an effective police officer in this
No,
area
but they would be
because
too rough.
It's
Yeah.
the demographics are different.
Exactly.
The mindsets of the people are different. Even though we're all in one big country,
It's way different everywhere.
everything's different.
Right.
Everything's tailored to that specific community.
And that's what we're here to kind of show, that we've got a small towns that the officers are here to help us, and they don't really harass or anything that I've seen. But at the same time, I know that when you see an officer and the first thing he grabs is his rubber gloves or them Playtex gloves, something's about to happen. That is the first one, especially out
What are you
west.
talking about as
The
far as-
Playtex gloves. It's an officer comes up.
You're not talking about actual rubber gloves
Yes,
like from
yeah, like a surgical gloves that they use
Okay.
out west a lot. Anytime they go to touch anybody or anything, here comes the gloves. When those gloves come on, that's a bad sign right there.
Well,
And a lot of times they get out of the cars, and I've watched many videos. I didn't just come out here and just start,
Okay.
start off.
have you looked into researching why that's
Oh
something
yes.
that they do?
Well, I
Why
understand
is-
it's because of the germs and the drugs and that sort of thing when they stick their hands in their pockets. I understand.
Well, rubber glove ain't going to protect
Right,
you from it.
exactly. That's my point. But the minute they go to touch somebody,
Yeah.
those gloves are on their hands,
Right.
and
And-
and they don't even have to talk to. I mean, we've seen videos to where they just get out of the police officer's car
Yeah.
and immediately start putting on gloves before they've ever asked anything but they automatically put those gloves on. And to a lot of people, that is the sign of aggression right there. So now they react to the officer in a total different way than they would if the officer would have come up and said, "Hey, what's going on?"
Well, and I think where we have a problem with the society is we automatically assume
The worst.
things. Yeah.
The worst.
And
There's
in,
a lot of-
in reality, see, there's a lot of things that I do that would probably not sit well with you. You
Right.
don't know why I do what I do.
Right.
I do what I do to protect me.
Right.
And to protect whoever is in my surrounding area.
But it,
Putting on rubber gloves, that to me is as insignificant as you coming out and putting your hat on.
right. Okay.
That's how I would perceive that. Or you putting your glasses on.
Right.
That.
Well, see,
because
here
rubber gloves
that
are just
is.
a tool of protection.
Right. Now, here that is. But like I said, that's after you make contact. That's after you make contact and you say, hey, this guy's a bad guy.
Depends.
Now he wants to put on his gloves. I understand that. But when they get out of the car and immediately do that, they're already expecting to have contact.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have those gloves on because there would be no need to have those gloves on.
And going back to what I said, their policing techniques are
Right.
totally different than mine.
But they
Right.
shouldn't be.
Well, it
That's-
depends. It's situational to the area because people congregate. Birds of a feather flock together, do they not?
Well, yes. That's
So
exactly
if you're
right.
going into a certain area that is high in drug abuse, high in the needle usage and stuff like that, typically you're going to start running into your infectious diseases and things of that nature.
Right.
That hands being protected by gloves, that is our first line of defense to keep us safe. Because if you look at my hands, I nicks and scratches and scrapes.
Right.
I've got open, cuts from just daily chores.
Right. Paper
doing
cuts.
dishes,
Exactly.
Doing dishes or cutting,
Yeah.
Casper's here.
cutting grass
Come in,
and
Casper.
getting. Yeah, it's the wind. There's a vacuum. But we're protecting ourselves just as much as everybody else.
Okay. Well, that was some of our deals there. That we keep seeing these on the videos, and we done our little bit of research, and we've seen a lot of things that's going on out there, and we said, you know what? I don't think that's happening around here, but we're going to go check it out. And believe it or not, the only thing that's a commonality is that blue line on the cars. Yeah. Now, the officers have not one time needed our ID or none of that. We haven't committed a crime, so they don't need that. They've given their names and their badge number.
The only issue that I perceived is that computer monitor. You guys can't.
Well, right. That's personal.
That's confidential.
That's right, and we make sure that all that.
So that the way you're not accidentally.
Exactly. And that's just like a lot of the other ones. They say, well, we've got personal information. We've got personal information on the computer. You can't record in here. My thought would be, well, if it's that personal, then why is it allowed for anybody to see it? That could be my information up there, and somebody walking up here who's got a photographic memory.
But if she's working on
Right.
something and you walk in, there's a chance that your video, if you go to the extreme over there,
Yes.
and you all were over there, so I didn't
Right.
want you guys swinging back.
Well, we try to keep all that stuff out. We're not here to do anybody's personal information other than the officers. The taxpayers' money goes to do that, and so we have a right to see how everything's going, and that's what we're here for. And I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And you have a good one. My name's James. Since as soon as you give me yours.
Actually.
That's right. We got the JJ. But we appreciate the time and everything. And I lost the footage last Saturday, and that's why we come back here. And luckily, we got to talk to you. So now maybe some of the viewers can understand how the smaller towns feel about that blue line and how they act about our constitutional rights and just being a person-to-person type thing. And that's what we're after.
I would urge you, sometimes, your all's demeanor will put us on a
Oh,
defense.
yes.
So, think about everything's a play on words and percent and,
Right.
and all that
But,
stuff.
but see, our videos here kind of represent how many is in this town here. I mean, it's not...
And I don't know the exact number.
Right,
I think it's 7,500.
7,500. See, they're out there at 75 and 150,000, and they have a lot more in there. So, sorry about
Video of
that.
this cop that put his rubber gloves on. There's a guy, he's in a hospital bed. He just tried to commit suicide. He just got like 7 years.
Oh
I
yeah,
think.
they
And he
beat
just
him.
smacks the hell out of him twice
yeah,
for no
that's-
reason
yeah.
at all. And
Yeah.
I've seen one where 4 jailers zapped a guy with their tasers till the batteries went out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just vicious.
Yeah.
And they're hiring people like that for cops. It's unreal.
And that's another thing too. Out there, they have a lot of officers that you see a lot of them complaining that when they do the background checks on the officers.
Do you know who Paul Harvey is? And I didn't mean.
Yes,
to
Paul
interrupt
Harvey. Yeah, he was a radio
Have
host.
you listened to his police officer show that he did?
No, I don't think I have.
Look it up.
Okay.
And listen to it.
All right.
I love Paul Harvey.
Yeah,
Granted, he's
this
long
is
gone,
Paul Harvey.
but yeah, I love listening to him on the radio, and he does one on a police officer, and it's hits the nail on the head.
Right,
And I did both of you guys listen to it.
Okay.
You know who Paul Harvey is?
I have no clue, but I'll check
Once
it
you,
out.
he has got a voice that once you start listening
This
to
was
him
Paul
talk,
Harvey coming
Yeah.
alive. Yeah.
and this is the rest of the story.
And this is the rest of the
You know,
story.
and then
That's
you're
his,
hooked.
that
You're
was
like-
his hook, yeah.
And you know, you're
Is he
pulled
on
up where you
YouTube?
need to go, but you sit out in
Yes,
the
you
radio.
can probably get him on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can
Oh
probably
yeah,
get him,
yeah. All his,
yeah.
yeah. All you have to do is Paul Harvey on YouTube. Paul Harvey, police officer, and that's
Right.
got his. And you just listen to it, and
Okay.
he hits home with it.
Okay.
You know, it talks about there's bad cops out here, but
It's wild.
But
It
see,
goes
that,
into percentages.
that was what I was getting at. Now, when you have an officer, let's say this here is, let's just say Austin, because it was the next town up, okay? Let's say Austin, officer there got fired for a reason, and they deemed him unfit to be a police officer. Would he be allowed to come here and get a job?
Depends upon what they did to deem him unfit. There is a process in Indiana where you can have your certification revoked. Yes, and
Oh.
that goes through the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board for review.
Because there's a
And
lot
here,
of those
let
officers.
let me kind of throw something out there. You know, I can't just say you worked for me, you was a police officer. I'm a chief, and I'm appointed by a political position, and
Right.
the person who appoints me doesn't like you.
Right.
So he's all the time, man, I can't really stand him. You know, he
Right.
comes in, he's sloppy, his uniform's sloppy. We need to get rid of him. He doesn't even need to be.
No, I'm talking. I'm not talking that. I'm talking aggression,
No.
where they've actually been fired because they were aggressive. They were
And that's gonna depend
have
upon the
those
agency,
that
what
sort of
they've
thing.
done.
Because out west, there's been an officer who was charged with, I think it was murder. I can't really remember exactly, but he was charged with murder. And then once they did the background check, he was found to be unfit because he was argumentative with his boss right off the bat, talking about, I'm going to kick his ass. You know, he was that aggressive to his officer or to his employer, his supervisor. And then he turned around and was done that way.
I'm
Did I
sorry.
get the FOIA request here?
A
For
what?
like
A FOIA.
the dash
permit?
cams and
Open
stuff like
open
that?
records
Open
request.
record, yes. Those are made through there, yes.
Okay. And that's what I was saying is when they did the background check that he was literally let go because of his aggressive nature, and they said that he wasn't. And then all of a sudden he's another officer he's still an officer in another area, and then all of a sudden it was murder. He was charged with murder. So
And that is always going to depend upon the agency that whether they filed charges with him or hey, you resign because they didn't want to mess with the paperwork and the headache
Right.
of dealing with it.
right.
But there is a process in Indiana as far as revoking one's certification. We're all certified through the, I say Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
I need an
There's
open
one in
records
Plainfield, but
request.
there's
I need two of
several
them.
throughout the state that are recognized.
Open records
by the,
request. Two of them.
And I went to the academy
for
in Plainfield.
photographs?
That's where most of the officers in this area go to the academy
Yep.
in Plainfield. Now,
Okay.
the Law Enforcement Training
I'm gonna
Board,
need his name. I'm gonna need
that
your name.
they are the ones that you would file a motion to
I want them
have
pictures
an
you guys just
officer's
took of me.
certifications revoked,
Right.
where he couldn't be a police officer in the state of Indiana.
Okay.
And it's got to
In the
be,
course of your duties,
you
so
you
those
can't
are
just
mine now.
accuse someone, he's just a bad cop.
Exactly.
Requires a
It's-
little bit more than
you're,
that.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for it. There's protections for us too.
Right.
Like the
I need
scenario
open
I was
records
just saying,
request, please.
you get a
Two
political
of
official who doesn't
What was your
like
name
you.
and your
It
badge
doesn't
number?
matter whether you're a good cop or not. You was
Right.
in his mind, you was bad to him
Exactly.
because he likes to speed or blow through stop signs.
Can you get his name and badge number?
Exactly. State trooper. One of the videos, state trooper arrested a sheriff's officer. He passed her like 25 mile an hour. And now don't quote me on the exact speed, but it was well over 100 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Passed her. She got behind him, took her.
in Florida.
Yeah, in
I
Florida,
saw
and
that.
pulled him over. Now, see, that's what we call good cops. They held bad cops accountable, and that's what we were here to kind of show everybody that not everybody is going up against what the big cities are.
Right.
But my concern is, eventually, with all this thing coming over this border and in herds that they're coming over, these little towns are going to be just that. They're going to be big again, and these little towns that's got these little little what do you call factories and that sort of thing, they're going to start loading up and they're going to start growing.
Well,
just
you'll
like
see this whole area of Clark County probably in the next 10, 15, 20 years is the population is going to explode. Because have you been down 62 and seen the
Yes.
River Ridge?
I
and
know
all that
Yes.
stuff?
on one then.
If you've gone down
Jeffersonville.
31, I don't know if you've noticed the airport. The airport has expanded to a point to where when I spoke with them, they had made a comment that you can land almost any type of airplane on
Thank
this
you,
strip
sir.
now.
didn't used
I'll
to
step
be.
out here.
You're right. Yeah, it's a little warm in here.
Yeah.
So, and then we got there's a big warehouse facility going in at 60 and 31. That's going to be huge too. So yeah, this area is gonna explode. You know, it's prime.
Well, Jeffersonville, I grew up around Jeffersonville, and boy, it's big. I went over to the jail thinking I knew right where the city police department is. No doors, it's no entrance now, and I went over there, and it's grown. Charlestown, went over there and talked to the detective over there, and they're getting a new. I don't know, I can't remember what his name is because I lost
guy.
that footage. Yes, he's a bald guy, and he has an African American partner with him at that time. And we noticed that they were getting a new building, and I was going around and I was showing people that what I grew up with. This is and it hadn't changed for all those years, and now all of a sudden they're getting that. That's pretty okay. And it was really amazing how everything has really exploded.
Yeah, I come over here from Charlestown. I lived in Charlestown. I graduated from Silver Creek, and so I've lived in this area almost all my life.
Well, see, I was in foster care over on Worley's, which used to be a Swifty station.
Okay.
And we were 2 doors down from them, and that's where I grew up at, and in that
Jim
foster.
Worley?
Yes, Jim Worley, right.
Jim Worley's a good friend of mine.
Yes, and also Diane and A.W. Pacey off over on Minot Street there in Charlestown. But that was right across from the rec center.
Did you graduate from Charlestown?
No, I didn't graduate from Charlestown. I didn't even get to graduate. I had to get my GED before I went into the service.
But did you did you go to Charlestown?
Yes, I went to
What
Charlestown.
year would you graduate?
The middle school was just built,
Okay.
and I just hit the middle school then.
Yeah,
And
they used to do the middle school over in the plant.
right. And then when they built the big one, had the swimming pool in it and everything, and the rubber floor upstairs and all that. Yeah, that's where we went. So, but you seemed to answer just about every question. Everybody seemed to be courteous and everything. I think he had a problem.
I'd be surprised if you find that from any of our officers.
Well, the only thing that I just heard in the background as we were talking was my buddy here. He just got a picture taken of, and then he asked for a FOIA request for her phone and the officer's phone that took the picture, and they were hesitant on doing that, and they were in their public capacity, and I guess he got a little upset, or they got a little upset over that. I couldn't hear that because I was paying attention to you. So, but something like that, something that little. Out there, it means a lot. Here, people just, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
People, to be honest with you, a lot of times they make mountains out of molehills.
Yeah, a lot of people do. But then again, out there, they are it's a little bit, like I said, people are getting stopped for just by walking down the street. You don't see that here. We went all around through here.
I was 32.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Well, like I said, I appreciate it.
Yep, no
You have a
problem,
good day.
James. Have a good day.
You too now. Thank you, sir. All right. Now, I talked to him. I seen that, and I asked, and he's going to inquire about what that was all about, because that wasn't right. So he's going to see that. But he did make a statement that said that they were like people like making mountains out of molehills and that sort of thing. We're going to make a ride here. I like to make a ride here.
I'm going to walk out here in a minute. I want to go. Is that a drugstore or something?
What? Drugstore? I don't know where the drugstores are. Huh? And that's a commission of building, huh? What's
Right there. Does it have a nice day on it or something?
Yeah, have a knife day. Knife day.
I just need a soda pop.
Okay. Well, we'll go get a soda. I know where we're going to go. But they seem to be all right with us and everything.
No, they did not.
Well,
He did.
Yeah, he did, but he wasn't listening to the thing. And I even told him on here, and I'm still on, that, you know, when they took a picture of you in their public capacity like that, that they are under FOIL request. And he shook his head, yeah. And that's when he made the statement, though, a lot of people like to make mountain out of molehills. So, you know, and a lot of people do, but what we're doing, we're not trying to make mountains out of molehills. We're just trying to do our constitutional rights. And with it upheld, and I gave him my first name because he was cordial with us, and he come out and he talked to us. But those one behind the desk, I missed that.
I think we need. I don't think we need to tell them that we're what to do. I think we should tell them that we're out here for our constitutional rights, because then that kind of gives us away.
Well,
I think we just need to say, oh, we're just out taping or, you know, videoing.
but that's what he said. If we had just said that, then he would say, oh, okay, no problem. But the minute we mentioned constitutional rights, it put them at off ease. It put them in a different state of mind. And since we know that puts them in a different state of mind, maybe that's what we need to start saying instead of being good old buddy, good old boys, you know.
One of them cars from the old days, drinking Machine Gun Kelly, the real one, not the Machine Gun Girl.
That's what I was getting at, is when he said, well, when you come out here and say you're doing your constitutional rights, well, that puts us in a little bit different. So that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that if that's what's upsetting them is the word Constitution, then I'm going to throw that out there every chance I get. Why? Because, one, it shouldn't be a trigger word. That's like people wearing a mega hat. That shouldn't be a trigger deal. And whenever I hear, well, it sets us off a little bit different because you said constitutional rights. Well, now it's not good old boys coming out here and just walking around and seeing what we could see. Now I'm going to try and push constitutional rights because now I know that's a trigger for them. But it's not a trigger to make them mad. It's a trigger to get them to react and to then explain what the reactions are. Because we have a right to do our constitutional right.
like,
and my constitutional right should be out there first and foremost. It shouldn't have to be put back on the back shelf just so somebody can feel at ease we're taking pictures. That's not right.
That when you say it though, I feel like then they think that, oh, they're just here trying to, you know, fuck with us, to get us to fuck up their rights.
But see, that's what I was saying, is we weren't there. We were out there doing what we could, and we're protected by our constitutional rights. I didn't say we're out here doing our constitutional rights and we're going to do it right now whether you like it or not. And it's not what I'm doing.
That lady about flipped though, didn't she?
Yeah, I heard her.
Well, that's my personal phone. I said, watch me.
Yeah, if you did it in your public capacity, then you have to. That's right.
Well, the cop was that cop. I seen him standing back there in the background filming us.
Yeah.
Then I looked down, I seen her, I said, hell no.
Right. Well, like I said, that was pretty good deal, interaction. We explained a little bit from here.
No, I don't care. Film me all day long.
We're trying to get everything done. So this is Sellersburg, Indiana, guys. This has made my day. Suspicious Activity 81 and our backup girl, Spider Monkey. So we'll get off here now and get this updated for you. Y'all have a good day. Bye.